Hi, it's wonderful to be here and in the most exciting session because I believe that cities are in the front line of the present and future. 37% of India lives in cities, and by 2050, every second person you meet will be from a city. In this world of AI and all the advances that AI has made, how can we really leverage AI for cities? With this, I would like to hand over to Hitesh to share his thoughts.
Thank you, and thank you for inviting me for this session. Well, we are having this session in the month of May, and we are talking about thinking cities, whereas our cities are also in the mindset of May. They may innovate, they may coordinate, they may do a AI move towards the AI. But I think the challenge, and I think last session really talked about, is when do they move from may to shall? And this is the battle from 1992, 74th Constitution Amendment, when we were empowering our urban local bodies. We all are struggling with how do you move from may to shall? And I think having this discussion in Mumbai, and doing this Samudra Manthan, if I call it, here in Mumbai, because Mumbai is the city of dreams, destiny, density, aspiration, and anxiety. All of them happens in Mumbai. So we will definitely think whether we want, how do we want to reimagine our urban systems? Because whatever we talked about, whether it is business, whether it is AI, whether it is innovation, it will happen in cities. Because we are right now 60% urban, and very soon we will be growing more. So all the actions, what we talk about as a policy thinking, will actually be implemented at a city level.
Superb. So over to you, Sridhar. Sridhar is actually amongst the few people in the world that have actually used AI for cities. And there's fabulous work across India and the world. So, he's a technology guy working and using AI in cities. So it would be great to hear from you, from the work that you have done, as to what has worked, what has not worked, and if you could give us some of the examples of how AI has been used for cities to make it more livable.
I can tell you, I can take to start with smart cities. Then in the future, the potential of what you can do with smart cities with advancements in AI. I mean, if you look at the past 5-6 years, AI in terms of basic analytics, basic intelligence, basic cross-vertical intelligence. When you speak about India's smart city mission, they have created 100 smart cities. So each city, there is a consultant who identified what are the top use cases or the top problem statements each city has identified and create an RFP. And with that RFP, the entire focus is to build the basic foundation. So, right, before leaving a house, you have to build the physical construction of the house, right? So, starting from setting up the fiber network to building these use cases, connecting sensors, and building this initial command control center, where you're ingesting all kinds of use cases. So now the fundamental command control center with multiple use cases are implemented. For example, every city requires safety and security. Every city requires intelligent traffic management system, parking management. Now coming back, with so much amount of data is available, how you can make this utilization of this data for better governance. So let's say, for example, safety and security. With you take Mumbai as an example. In fact, we have done the entire Mumbai, safety, which means you have lakhs of cameras integrated into the platform. Think about when you have so much of data about the city, any kind of crime happens, how immediately you can catch where and what this crime happened. And based on the moment of the situation, whether you can predict the crime, right? Or based on the traffic, can you predict the next accident? And can you prevent it? I mean, there is a huge possibility of what you can do with AI.
Has it been implemented in any cities where, based on what you're saying, where you've used AI to predict? Have you implemented it in any of the cities?
Yeah, I mean, some of the use cases we have implemented. I'll just give you one example in Washington, D.C. So we saw that it's a waste management use case. They saw that certain day of the week, lots of pollution, lots of smell in a specific part of the city. So, but waste management trucks used to go every day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So when they started sensing and analyzing the data with AI, they found out that Fridays are the days where the party happens. Fridays are the days people throw lots of trash, and its effect is on Saturday. Suddenly, the entire truck management and waste management, everything they could plan, now they know because of the data and because of the intelligence, they could, predict when to focus. For example, they say they used to do Tuesday and Thursday and Monday. Tuesday, Thursday, and Sundays are the days where the waste management pickup happens. Now they know that the best day to do is Saturday, not on Tuesday.
So interesting. As people know, Hitesh Vaidya was the former director of National Institute of Urban Affairs, and he's seen this entire movement. So, Hitesh, you've seen the smart cities movement, you've seen so many movements. Now, based on that, what do you think is the futuristic framework of using AI for cities?
Great. Thank you. See, for me, while we all talk about urbanization happening, India is not only building infrastructure or just building cities. We are building whole operating system in place. We have going to be, if I look at 2011 census, we are going to have around 13,956 settlements. And what we need is not infrastructure, definitely infrastructure, but we also need models, AI platforms, a thinking hat. How do you govern those cities? So what we need is capacities to deliver. And that is the biggest challenge when I call it an operating system, is how do you run this massive city? So that's big challenge. And second area which while we all talk about urbanization is not neutral. It either creates risk or it reduces risk. It depends how do you manage this urbanization. And if you have, the fragmented system which we have right now, then even AI, you bring best of AI tools and put it in the fragmented system, it will bring dysfunctional cities. So the biggest challenge, and what you ask AI, is how do you integrate? We were talking off stage. Any given city has not, and right now because we all are talking about heat, everybody's taking heat action plan. We talk about smart city action plan. We talk about city development plan. Any given city has 9 to 10 planning instruments. If I am a mayor of a city and I have 5-10 instruments, do I believe you? Do I believe you? So role of AI in that is to reduce, and that risk is integrate those planning process. And I always believe and that moving forward, and because we are talking about reimagining, while we may have different planning instrument, there has to be one city, one plan, one agency. Unless you have these three together, we will all talk about in fragmented silos. So the biggest challenge in India is how do you bring silos. Third point, which I think while we all talk about smart cities, we all talk about infrastructure, we all talk about visible city. Nobody's talking about city which is invisible.
Okay.
And which is our informal sector, which is our we all talk about heat, but people who are working in these industries who are actually suffering, the communities at the local, nobody's talking about. We all talk about skylines, metros, everything, but air quality, who is talking about? Mobility, water challenges. These are the areas where we need much more AIs and others so that we can design those cities, we can map those integrators of actions which need to be done. We need a walkability intelligence. We all talk about walkable cities.
I want footpaths in Mumbai.
Yeah, we all talk about walkable cities, but where is the walkable intelligence? Where should I walk? What are the potholes in that road? That's the type of AI we really need to really talk about. We all talk about cities, from different, but do we talk about how, as a citizen, I want my city? Can we have a citizen sensitization mapping? That citizens can start communicating with the cities. I think that's the challenge which we really need to really start thinking about. So I definitely, I'll stop here, but I think while we are talking about smart cities or visible cities, I think let's start talking about lived cities. Cities where we can live.
In fact, the word smart cities or AI cities, whenever you look at this as a technology project, many of them failed. It is not a technology project. It's a urban transformation project, understanding urban challenges. It could be traffic, it could be pollution, it could be safety. How you would transform urban, and technology is an enabler. AI is an enabler to solve those problems.
Exactly.
So mayor or a commissioner or a minister doesn't wake up in the morning to say that I want to implement the technology, right? How do you solve the problem? Then within that, how do you use some of those technologies?
Exactly. See, we are all talking about, and I just pick up from you, we are all talking about 70% of urban infrastructure has still to be built. Yes. But if the systems, we are not able to manage 30% what we have, then why, with the same system, can we manage 70%? So as he said very rightly, when as a citizen, I go out of my house, it's not what technology has brought for me. It's, can I walk? Can I reach? Is there a vehicle available, next vehicle available to take me? Is the road good enough to take me? And that's where the technology has to play a big role to really, the whole aspiration of AI has to move towards that direction. Because right now when we are talking about AI, and sorry, when we talk about, Sridhar has talked about command centers, I do agree that we have a command centers, across 100 cities have command centers. But we also need a decision-making centers. It's not just gathering a data. It's how so we have a lot of data. And I think I used to, when I was at National Institute of Urban Affairs, I used to say that we are sitting on a gold mine of a data. The question is not a data. The question is how do we get insights out of data? And where do we work and where do we prioritize that data? And that is where the AI should play a big role.
In fact, see the Smart City mission, central government created a program and said, okay, we're going to give you X amount and state has to fund rest of the amount, and created a Smart City program. So as part of the program, let's say you have a command control center, you have free use cases.
Yes.
The Smart City mission story is over.
Yeah.
It's an individual state leadership has to think of what is that my city wants. I want my city to be safe. Okay, let me bring safety and security. Then there are many states, they took this smart city initiative, the first phase, put in their state budgets to develop those use cases, develop those outcomes.
Superb.
Yeah, no, I fully agree with what Sridhar is saying. Is while Smart City Mission was a great initiative to start with, because it gave that chance of reimagining cities, and that the power was given to cities to start but it was the first time that attempt where cities started thinking about it. And I particularly believe, working with the Smart City Mission, people might say a lot of things negative, but I think it's a mission which created that aspiration to do better. And it has evolved the thinking within the cities. And I think that's a big takeaway from the cities, which were totally dependent. Now cities have started demanding and thinking about that direction. I think that's the biggest, it has done to the thing that now we have 100 cities, but there are nothing could have come that it's not you announce a smart city, something come from the sky and spark that tomorrow you will be smart. That will not happen.
Right.
So it has to evolve, it has to emerge. And I think India at this time, I think last session also talked about, we have created a story. We need a lot of new thinking to how do you really use the new templates now emerging to manage new challenges. Right now, we all had a story, India lives in the villages. Now that story has moved. But our templates have not moved towards urban templates. So I think what we need is move from that rural templates to an old dynamic, and cities are more dynamic. They are no longer static cities. So move towards the dynamic tools and templates to really create that India story much further, because whatever we talk about, whatever we do will actually be happening in cities. So I think whether AI, whether technology, whether system thinking, as he rightly said, if I have a city to decide and my mandate is to give a good city, then I need to have a right people, a right skill set, a right empowerment to really be accountable and answerable to my citizens. So what is my constituency is my citizens in the city. If I don't have a mandate, and one of my mentor used to call, because last session also talked about mentorship, my mentor used to call that the role of mayor in a city is, pick up the baby and cut the ribbon or something like that. Cut the ribbon or kiss the baby. That used to be the role of a mayor. And I think that role has to change from a mayor, where mayor becomes a authority, that this is my city, this is my aspiration of a city, this is what outcome has to be decided. We can't live in this master planning world of our cities. And I think master plans thinking has to be changed and looked at it more towards dynamic city strategy thinking rather than the master plan thinking.
Wonderful. I'm loving this conversation. So, 10 years, over 10 years have passed for the Smart City Mission. We are in May 2026. And you have been given a magic wand and all the resources. So, if anything was possible, you have the magic wand, what would you do to, and what would be like your dream city?
There's nothing called dream city, but I think what we need to do is standardize our knowledge. Right. We already have a knowledge. We don't need more knowledge. We need to convert that knowledge to action now. So I don't need another guideline. I don't need another framework. I didn't need other thing. The first thing should be bring this knowledge together and see how it works. So even though a lot of people will say template, I feel that even we have a templatization, we will at least achieve 60% standardization to that. So if we have to planning, everybody is doing a heat action plan. If you have one standard heat action plan, everybody does 60% right, 40% will come and evolve out of it. So I don't think that everybody start doing the same thing again and again. So that's my one action which I think we need to do. Second is, and again I love mythology.
We know that.
We are at this stage in the challenge of climate which we are facing. We are like Arjuna who is in the battle of Mahabharata. And he is saying, मैं गांडीव उठाऊं कि गांडीव ना उठाऊं, मैं तीर चलाऊं तो किस पे चलाऊं. And I think we don't have answers to lot of challenges we are covering. And this will, and nobody has answer. If anybody says expert, I have answers, nobody has. I think the biggest challenge right now is at that city level, as a national level, is the partnerships, partnerships, and partnerships. Because somebody has the knowledge. We need to aggregate that knowledge and get that action oriented. And I think my dream world will be bring more partnerships together, whether partnership with the industry, whether partnership with academia, whether partnership with communities. These three partnerships have to start coming up, or partnership with civil society, to come up with the cities, what Sridhar called is cities aspirations, cities vision, and cities strategies.
Superb. Over to you, Sridhar.
So I think, 4 years, 5 years down the road, if you look at, there is a great opportunity to convert these smart cities into intelligent cities.
Okay.
I feel in 3 to 5 years, there is an abundance of technology. And technology is a commodity. It's available at very, very low cost. Many things which were required, huge amount of hardware, we don't need it anymore. And many cities are already invested into cameras, feeds, lots of data available. So now with intelligence, we will be able to provide huge amount of outcomes. If government can come with a framework where the private corporates investments are protected, there is a huge potential for corporates to come and invest and show the outcomes what the governments are looking at. Any outcome, either it creates revenue or it saves money for the government, or it provides a clear service to the citizens. You can charge some money to the citizen and you take a revenue share of it. I'll just give you one example. We have done project in Kerala. All the within state highways, they were getting many accidents because they built a very nice highway. Many people started going speed and many accidents were happening. They wanted to control the accidents and they don't have the money. So we put the entire technology, both hardware, software, and entire technology platform. Now, after, including that speed violations, identifying speed. Now people started, okay, I'm getting tickets when I go speed, so that I'll go slow, right? The number of tickets will come less. Then whatever that collection of tickets happens, right? The fees collected, let's say part of the fees which we are getting it, which means company is investing into the entire technology for making the highway safe by putting the cameras, and government is not putting anything. You are getting a revenue share of it, and it is sustainable for the government. Government also getting revenue is fantastic. That way we have done many use cases globally, but we need that kind of safety and security from the government. What if government stops because of the elections? We don't want to have this technology because we wanted to please the citizens. Then the whole thing goes into toss. I think with advancements in AI, huge potential, but I think we need to have that security in place to do miracles.
Anything you'd like to add?
No, I think I agree with you, but I always feel that phase of experimentation has gone. Now we can't afford any more experiments. I think the phase of integration has to come up, and integration of planning with the climate, integration of planning with livelihood, integration of planning and AI so AI has to have that role of integrating if AI has to work within the urban local bodies, because I think the next phase of our reimagination has to be integration within the already existing systems and come up with the more accountable and transparent systems where citizens start relating to the cities. And I think that's my big take away, because right now what we are having is everybody is entering the city like a checker view, from the technology lens, from the planning lens, from the thing, and governance, livelihood. They are not even inside the checker view, and service delivery is taking a backseat. They are not there. So how do you integrate all of them at a city level is going to be the main challenge moving forward.
Super. I don't know how half an hour passed. It was indeed my privilege to have the foremost in policy and technology on the same platform in May 2026, which would affect every next Indian by 2050. And one beautiful thing that I have gathered from this conversation is while both of them have their own approaches, it was single-mindedly focused on communities and using AI as an enabler to get people who live in cities to help them to live better, a high-quality life and sustainably. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.